The restaurant was quiet. Not the happy kind of quiet. It was the tired kind. The kind that comes late in the evening when people are done with the day and just want to eat and go home. Only a few tables were filled. Soft yellow lights hung from the ceiling. Plates clinked gently. A slow song played in the background, but no one was really listening. In the far corner of the restaurant, a black woman sat alone. She was thin, too thin. Her jacket was old. Not dirty, just worn. Like it had been used too many times and never replaced. Her hands rested on the table, folded together. In front of her, there was no food, only a glass of water. She looked at it, then looked away. Her stomach growled softly, but she ignored it. She had learned how to ignore hunger. The woman checked the time on her phone. The screen was cracked. She sighed and placed it back in her bag. She looked around the room slowly. Not because she was curious, but because she was careful. She did not want attention. She did not want questions. She did not want anyone to notice that she had no money to eat. Her eyes stopped at a table near the middle of the restaurant. A man sat there with a little girl. The man looked tired but clean. His shirt was simple. His face showed long days and short nights. He was a single father. Life had already taken enough from him. The little girl sat quietly across from him. She was maybe 6 years old. Small hands, big eyes. A plate of food sat between them. Warm, fresh, almost untouched. The woman quickly looked away. She did not want to look at food. Looking made it worse. She took a deep breath and raised her hand slightly. A waiter passed by. "Can I get the bill?" she asked softly. Her voice was polite. Too polite. The waiter looked at the table, then at her glass of water. "Just the water?" he asked. She nodded quickly. "Yes." No explanation. No excuses. The waiter walked away. The woman reached into her bag and checked again. Nothing had changed. A few coins. Not enough. Her shoulders dropped a little. She already knew the answer. She always knew. When the waiter returned, he placed a small receipt on the table. She looked at the number. It was small, but still too much. She swallowed hard. Slowly, carefully, she placed the receipt back on the table. She stood up from her chair. No noise. No drama. She picked up her bag and put the strap over her shoulder. She did not look back. Her plan was simple. Leave quietly. Before anyone says anything. Before anyone stops her. Before shame gets louder. She took one step toward the door. At the same moment, the single father felt something strange. Not a sound. Not a movement. A feeling. He looked at his daughter. She was not eating. Her fork rested on the plate, untouched. Her eyes were not on the food anymore. They were fixed on something else. The man followed her gaze. Toward the corner. Toward the woman. The hungry black woman was almost at the door now. Her hand reached for the handle. The little girl's eyes moved from the woman, down to her father's plate. She stared. Not for 1 second. Not for 2. She stared like she was thinking. The father noticed. "Sweetheart," he said gently. "Aren't you hungry?" The girl did not answer. She kept looking. The father felt uncomfortable. Confused. He turned fully in his chair. And then he saw it. He saw the woman's back. He saw the way she walked slowly, like each step cost her something. He saw the way her shoulders were tight. Heavy. The girl finally spoke. Her voice was quiet, but clear. "Daddy." The man leaned closer. "Yes." She didn't eat. The father froze. The words hit him harder than he expected. "She didn't eat," the girl repeated. The woman opened the door slightly. Cold air touched her face. For a moment, she stopped. She felt it. That feeling when you know someone is looking at you. She turned her head just a little. Her eyes met the man's eyes. Only for a second. Then she looked down. Ashamed. Tired. Hungry. The little girl was still staring. Not at the woman. At the food. At the plate her father had barely touched. The restaurant felt even quieter now. Like everyone was holding their breath. The father looked at his daughter. Then, at his plate. Then back at the woman near the door. And in that moment, everything was about to change. But no one knew it yet. The woman did not move. Her hand stayed on the door handle. Cold air touched her fingers, but she did not pull back. She felt it. That quiet pressure in the chest. The feeling that comes when eyes are on you, even if no one says a word. She kept her head low. She did not want to be seen. Being seen always came with pain. Inside the restaurant, the single father stayed frozen in his chair. His plate sat in front of him. Warm food. Good food. He had worked extra hours for this meal. Not for himself. For his daughter. He wanted to see her smile. He wanted to give her something normal. But now she was not smiling. The little girl's eyes were wide. Not sad. Not scared. Just aware. She leaned forward slightly, her chin almost touching the table. "Daddy," she whispered again. "Yes, baby," he answered, still watching the woman. "She looks tired." The man swallowed. He had not noticed that at first. But now he saw it. The way the woman stood. The way her shoulders dropped, like she was carrying something heavy. Not a bag. Not a coat. Life. The man looked down at his plate. He suddenly felt full. Too full. His daughter pushed her plate away. "I'm not hungry," she said. The words felt strange. Because she had been hungry before. Very hungry. He remembered mornings when he skipped breakfast so she could eat. Days when he told her he was not that hungry, and smiled anyway. He remembered that feeling. Hunger was not just pain in the stomach. It was quiet shame. It was pretending you were okay when you were not. The woman slowly turned back toward the room. Her eyes stayed low. She took one step inside. "I'm sorry," she said softly. Her voice barely traveled across the space. "I didn't mean to cause any trouble." The man stood up. Not fast. Not loud. Slow and careful. "No trouble," he said. His voice was calm, but unsure. The woman nodded. She did not believe him. She had heard those words before. Right before security came. Right before someone asked her to leave. She waited. The little girl slid down from her chair. Her feet touched the floor gently. She walked closer to her father. "Daddy," she said, pulling his hand. He looked down at her. "Why didn't she eat?" the girl asked. The question was innocent, but it hit hard. The woman's eyes filled with tears. She shook her head quickly. "It's okay," she said. "I was just leaving." She turned again toward the door. The man spoke before she could move. "Wait." The word was soft, but stopped her. She turned back slowly. "Yes," she asked. The man pointed to the chair. "Please," he said. "Seat." The woman hesitated. Every part of her body said no. Sit and something bad happens. Sit and someone judges you. But then she looked at the little girl. Those big eyes. No fear. No hot. Just concern. The woman walked back to the table and sat down. Her hand shook. "I don't have money," she said quickly. "I don't want anything. I promise." The man shook his head. "That's not what this is," he replied. The little girl climbed back into her chair. She looked at the woman's empty place in front of her. Then at the food. Then at her father. "Can we share?" she asked. The man felt his chest tighten. He nodded. The woman's breath caught in her throat. No one had asked her that in a long time. Share. Not give. Not throw. Share. The waiter returned, unsure. The man spoke before the waiter could say anything. "Please bring another plate," he said. The woman's eyes widened. No, she whispered. "I can't." The man raised his hand gently. "Please," he said again. "My daughter asked." The waiter smiled and walked away. The woman covered her mouth. Tears fell quietly. She tried to stop them. She failed. The little girl smiled at her. "Food tastes better when you're not alone," she said. The woman laughed softly through her tears. She had no idea. This was only the beginning. And what came next would change all of their lives forever. The food arrived quietly. A clean plate was placed in front of the woman. Steam rose slowly, like the food was alive. The smell hit her first. Warm. Real. Too real. Her stomach twisted hard. She had not eaten a full meal in days. She stared at the plate, but did not touch it. Her hands rested on her lap, tight and still. The man noticed. He had seen this before. Not in restaurants. In people. People who were not used to kindness. People who expected it to disappear at any moment. "You don't have to rush," he said gently. "It's okay." The woman nodded, but her eyes stayed on the table. "I don't want to take too much," she said. Her voice was low. "Careful." The little girl tilted her head. "Food doesn't run away," she said. "You can eat slow." The woman smiled without meaning to. That smile surprised her. It felt strange on her face, like something she had forgotten how to use. She picked up the fork. Her hand shook. She paused, then placed the fork back down. "I'm sorry," she said suddenly. "I didn't plan this. I really didn't." The man leaned back slightly. "You don't have to explain." But she did. Words started coming out, slow at first, then faster. I had a job interview today, she said. I walked 2 hours to get there. The man listened. The girl listened too. They said they would call. The woman continued. They always say that. She laughed quietly. Not a happy laugh. I used my last money on bus fare to come back. I thought maybe I could sit here for a bit. Just sit. Her voice cracked. I didn't want to steal. I didn't want trouble. I just needed somewhere warm. The restaurant noise faded around them. No one interrupted. The man nodded slowly. I know that feeling, he said. The woman looked up for the first time. After my wife died, the man continued. Everything became heavy. He stopped. The little girl reached for his hand. She got sick, the man said. Very fast. The woman's eyes softened. She was everything, he said. And then one day, she was gone. The little girl squeezed his hand tighter. I try to be strong, he said. But some days, strength runs out. The woman swallowed hard. I had a son, she said quietly. The man froze. The little girl looked up quickly. You have a son? She asked. The woman nodded. He's 8, she said. He likes drawing cars. Her voice shook. I lost my place to live, she continued. Then I lost my job. She took a deep breath. And then I lost him. Silence fell like a heavy blanket. The man felt his chest tighten. The little girl's eyes filled with tears. Where is he? The girl asked softly. With his aunt, the woman replied. He's safe. She forced a small smile. I just need to get back on my feet. The food sat untouched between them. The man pushed his plate closer to her. Please, he said. Eat. The woman finally lifted the fork. She took a small bite. Her eyes closed instantly. Not because of taste, because of relief. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she chewed. I forgot how this feels, she whispered. The little girl smiled. My daddy cooks better, she said proudly. The woman laughed again. This time it sounded real. The man watched the woman eat slowly. Something inside him shifted. This was not charity. This was not pity. This was life crossing life. The waiter passed by and paused. You all okay? He asked. Yes, the man said. We're fine. The waiter nodded and walked away. The woman wiped her face. Thank you, she said, for seeing me. The man looked at her. I didn't, he said honestly. My daughter did. The little girl smiled shyly. She looked hungry, she said simply. The woman reached across the table and held the girl's hand. Thank you, she whispered. The man felt something heavy settle in his heart. This moment was bigger than dinner, bigger than kindness. And he knew it, because a decision was forming in his mind. A decision that would not be easy, but it would be right. And once he made it, none of their lives would ever be the same again. The woman ate slowly. Each bite felt careful, like the food might disappear if she rushed. She kept saying, thank you, between small bites. Too many times. The man noticed. You don't have to keep saying that, he said gently. She paused. Yes, I do, she replied. People don't do this for me. The little girl watched her closely. Food makes people quiet, the girl said. My daddy gets quiet too. The man smiled softly. That's because eating feels safe, he said. The word safe hung in the air. The woman had not felt safe in a long time. She finished the last bite and placed the fork down. Her hands rested on the table now, not shaking anymore. For the first time that night, she looked up fully. Why did you help me? She asked. The man did not answer right away. He looked at his daughter. The girl swung her legs under the table. She asked me to, he said finally. The woman looked confused. I didn't ask, she said. The man smiled slightly. She did, he said, pointing to his daughter. The girl nodded proudly. You look like my aunt when she cries, the girl said. But she tries to hide it. The woman laughed softly. I do try to hide it, she admitted. The man leaned back. I wasn't always good at asking for help, he said. I still struggle. The woman listened carefully. After my wife passed, he continued, I thought being strong meant doing everything alone. He shook his head. I was wrong. The little girl leaned against his arm. Daddy learned, she said. The woman smiled at that. The waiter returned with the bill. The man reached for it. The woman's body stiffened. I can pay for my water, she said quickly. I don't want you to think. The man raised his hand. Please, he said. Let me. The waiter placed the bill down and left. The woman stared at the table. I don't want to be a problem, she whispered. The man looked straight at her. You're not, he said firmly. Those two words hit her hard. She closed her eyes. The little girl broke the silence. "Where are you going tonight?" she asked innocently. The woman opened her eyes slowly. "I'm not sure," she answered. The man's jaw tightened. "You don't have a place?" he asked. She shook her head. "Not tonight." The girl looked worried. "Where do you sleep?" she asked. The woman hesitated. "Sometimes on a friend's couch," she said. "Sometimes I don't." The table went quiet again. The man felt something heavy press on his chest. He thought about his daughter, about the nights she had asked questions he could not answer. He thought about the woman standing at the door earlier, trying to disappear. He took a deep breath. "Do you have family?" he asked. The woman nodded. "My sister," she said, "but she lives far, and she has her own problems." The little girl looked at her father. Her eyes were serious now. "Daddy," she said, "we have a couch." The man froze. The woman's heart stopped. "No," the woman said quickly. "That's too much. I can't." The man held up his hand. "Wait," he said calmly. The girl leaned forward. "We have a blanket too," she added. The woman stood up fast. "I'm grateful," she said, her voice shaking. "But I can't put you in that position." The man stood too. "This is my decision," he said. He looked at his daughter. "And hers." The woman's eyes filled with tears again. "You don't know me," she said. The man nodded. "That's true," he replied. "But I know what it's like to need help." The little girl stepped closer to the woman. She held out her hand. "You can sleep safe," she said. The woman covered her mouth. She wanted to run. She wanted to stay. Her heart was fighting her fear. The man reached into his pocket and pulled out his keys. He placed them on the table. "Just for tonight," he said. The restaurant felt far away now. The world felt smaller. And the woman realized something terrifying and beautiful at the same time. This was no longer just kindness. This was a door opening. And once she stepped through it, there was no going back. The ride was quiet. The woman sat in the back seat, hands folded in her lap. The city lights passed by the window, slow and blurry. She did not speak. She was afraid that if she did, this moment would break. The little girl hummed softly to herself. The man drove with both hands on the wheel. His eyes stayed on the road, but his thoughts were everywhere. No one talked about how strange this was. 3 lives crossing in one night. When they reached the apartment, the woman hesitated again. "It's just for tonight," the man reminded her gently. She nodded. "I know." Inside, the apartment was small but clean. Nothing fancy, just lived in. The little girl ran inside first. "We have hot water," she announced proudly. The woman smiled. That mattered more than anything. The man handed her a towel and pointed down the hall. "You can shower if you want," he said. "There's clean soap." Her throat tightened. "Thank you," she whispered. The warm water hit her skin, and she broke. She did not cry loud. She cried the way "My daddy keeps promises," she said. Daniel swallowed hard. "I try," he said softly. Maya looked at him. "You're doing good," she said. The words hit him harder than he expected. No one had said that to him in a long time. The clock ticked quietly on the wall. Daniel stood up. "You should rest," he said. "Tomorrow is a new day." Maya nodded. Lily jumped up. "You can sleep here," she said, pointing to the couch. "I'll bring a blanket." She ran off happily. Maya stood slowly. "Daniel," she said. He turned. "I don't want this to be a burden," she said. "I'll leave early. I promise." Daniel shook his head. "We'll talk in the morning," he replied. That night, Maya lay awake on the couch. The blanket was warm. The room was quiet. She stared at the ceiling. For the first time in a long time, she allowed herself to hope. But hope scared her, because hope meant risk, and she had lost too much already. In the other room, Daniel stared at the ceiling too. He knew something had shifted. This was no longer about one night. And deep down, he knew the hardest decision was still coming. Morning came quietly. Sunlight slipped through the thin curtains and touched the walls softly. No alarms. No ruse. Maya woke up slowly. For a moment, she forgot where she was. Then she remembered. The couch. The blanket. The warmth. She sat up fast. She did not want to overstay. She did not want to ruin this kindness. She folded the blanket carefully and placed it back the way she found it. From the kitchen, she heard small footsteps. Lily appeared in the doorway. "Good morning," Lily said with a smile. Maya smiled back. "Good morning." Lily held up a box. "Cereal?" she asked. Maya laughed softly. That sounds perfect. Daniel stood at the stove, making eggs. He turned when he saw Maya. You didn't have to get up so early, he said. I didn't want to be in the way, Maya replied. Daniel shook his head. You're not, he said again. Those words still felt unreal to her. They sat at the table together. Simple breakfast. Simple peace. Daniel watched Maya carefully. She was polite. Too polite. Every movement asked permission. After breakfast, Lily grabbed her backpack. I have school, she announced. Daniel nodded. Ready. Lily turned to Maya. Will you be here when I come back? She asked. Maya hesitated. I don't know, she answered honestly. Lily frowned slightly. Daniel stood up. I'll walk her to school, he said. We'll talk when I get back. Maya nodded. When the door closed, silence filled the apartment again. Maya sat alone on the couch. Her chest felt tight. This place felt safe. Too safe. And safe things never lasted for her. When Daniel returned, he did not sit down right away. He paced. Maya watched him nervously. I've been thinking, he said. Her heart skipped. I don't want to make this uncomfortable, he continued. But I also don't want to ignore what's right in front of me. Maya looked down. I'll leave, she said quickly. Daniel stopped pacing. That's not what I'm saying, he replied. He sat across from her. I work at a small auto shop, he said. We need help. Front desk. Cleaning. Simple work. Maya looked up slowly. You're offering me a job? She asked. Yes, Daniel said. Her breath caught. I don't have a resume, she said. I don't even have. Daniel raised his hand. I'm not offering pity, he said firmly. I'm offering work. Maya swallowed hard. I can work, she said quickly. I'm reliable. I'm on time. I believe you, Daniel replied. She shook her head, overwhelmed. Why? She asked again. Why are you doing all this? Daniel leaned back. Because my daughter saw you, he said. And because I remember being unseen. Maya closed her eyes. Tears fell again. Daniel continued. There's more, he said. Her heart tightened. My friend manages an apartment building, he said. There's a small unit opening soon. Maya's hands trembled. I can't afford rent, she whispered. Not yet, Daniel said. But you could soon. He paused. I'm not asking you to stay here long, he added. Just until you're steady. Maya stood up suddenly. I don't want to owe you my life, she said. Her voice shook. Daniel stood too. You don't, he said calmly. You just owe yourself a chance. She turned away, breathing hard. Hope was dangerous. She had trusted hope before, and it broke her. Daniel spoke again. There's one more thing, he said. She turned back. My shop does background checks, he said. Nothing serious. Just routine. Maya froze. Her face went pale. I should go, she said. Daniel noticed. What is it? He asked gently. Maya shook her head. It's complicated, she said. Daniel did not push. I just need honesty, he said. Maya took a deep breath. There's something in my past, she admitted. Something that might stop all this. Daniel waited. She looked at the door, then back at him. If I tell you, she said, everything could change. Daniel met her eyes. Then let's face it, he said. Maya swallowed. Her voice dropped to a whisper. I was arrested once. The room went still. The air felt heavy. And in that moment, everything hung in the balance. The room stayed quiet. Daniel did not speak right away. Maya stood still, her hands clenched at her sides. She was ready. Ready for the look. Ready for the step back. Ready for the door to close again. She had seen it before. But Daniel did not move away. He sat down slowly. When? He asked. Maya blinked. You're not angry? She asked softly. Daniel shook his head. I asked for honesty, he said. You gave it. She swallowed. It was 2 years ago, Maya said. I was homeless. Desperate. Her voice stayed steady, but her eyes did not. I took food from store, she continued. I got caught. She looked down. No violence. No drugs. Nothing like that. Daniel nodded. I paid for it, she said. Court. Phoenix. Shame. She lifted her head. I've been clean. Working. Trying. Daniel exhaled slowly. That won't stop the job, he said. Maya froze. What? She whispered. It won't stop the job, he repeated. You made a mistake. You didn't make a habit. Tears filled her eyes instantly. I don't understand, she said. Why are you still helping me? Daniel leaned forward. Because my daughter is watching, he said. That answer broke her. Maya covered her face and cried. Not quiet this time. Not small. Real tears. Daniel waited. When she finally looked up, Lily stood in the doorway. She had come home early. She looked at Maya's red eyes, then at her father. Is she okay? Lily asked. Maya knelt down. I am now, she said. Lily smiled. I told you food helps, she said seriously. They laughed softly together. Weeks passed. Slowly, carefully. Maya started working at the shop. Simple work at first. Cleaning. Phones. Papers. She showed up early. Every day. Daniel noticed. So did everyone else. She saved money. Every dollar mattered. 2 months later, she moved into a small apartment. 1 room. 1 bed. It felt like a palace. The first thing she did was hang a drawing on the wall. A car. Her son's favorite. She called him that night. I'm coming for you, she said. He cried. Daniel helped when he could. Not with money. With guidance. Lily helped too. She drew pictures for Maya's son. Tell him I have crayons, she said. One afternoon, months later, Maya stood outside of school. Her hand shook. The door opened. A little boy ran out. Mama, he shouted. She dropped to her knees. They held each other for a long time. Across the street, Daniel watched quietly with Lily. Daddy, Lily whispered. She kept her promise. Daniel nodded. Yes, he said. She did. Later that evening, they sat together again. Same table. Different people. Stronger. Maya looked around. I almost walked out of that restaurant, she said. I was ready to disappear. Daniel smiled. But someone saw you, he said. Lily raised her hand proudly. I did, she said. Maya laughed. And because of that, Maya continued. I'm here. She looked at Daniel. You didn't save me, she said. You reminded me who I was. Daniel shook his head. You did the work, he replied. Lily looked confused. So who's the hero? She asked. Maya smiled and took her hand. Sometimes, she said gently, heroes are just people who choose kindness. The room felt warm, full, and somewhere in a quiet restaurant, another hungry person was sitting alone, waiting, hoping, because sometimes, one small moment, one simple choice, one child brave enough to see the truth, can change a life forever.